These are sky blue days. These are sky blue days. When the CBS and the SBA will fight to the end and lead the way. Sing out together. These are sky blue days. These are sky blue days. When the CBS and the SBA will fight to the end and lead the way. Sing out together. Sky Blue Fans TV, for the fans, by the fans.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Sky Blue Fans TV. My name's Mark Smith. Tonight we'll be talking about the very, very poor, disappointing result against Wrexham, 4-3 defeat. Tonight I've been joined by Ken Stewart. Evening, Ken.
Good evening, all. Yeah, evening, Mark.
Yeah, good stuff. Good to have you on, Ken. And our roving reporter, Mr. Miles Cadden. How are we doing, Miles?
Yeah, all good, mate. Calm down.
Yeah. Have you calmed down? Yeah, are we all calm?
Yeah, calm
Just
down.
about.
Calm.
Yeah, it took me a while. My wife was telling me last night, you've got to calm down, try and relax and watch a film. And I watched Bohemian Rhapsody, and that was a pretty miserable film as well. So, yeah, it's been a pretty miserable weekend. But at least the Villa lost to Stevenage. So that's every cloud is a silver lining and all that. Okay, let's move swiftly on to get this out of the way with the game. So let's go back to the start of the game. Let's look at what the changes Mark Robins made. So Mark Robins has made 6 changes to the team going ahead to the Wrexham game yesterday. He's brought in some fringe players. Simon Moore comes back into the starting 11. Fantastic Dabo starts. Jack Burrows, Liam Kelly, Martin Waghorn, and Fabio Tavares all come into the side. Miles, what was your thoughts on the team lineup that was announced?
First of all, I thought it was okay, apart from probably 1 or 2 players. I thought that, I thought at the back he chose Panzo, which I was pleased with. Rose was in there. I was pleased with that. Bidwell, obviously, who slots into that position quite well, and then Burrows. But then when you look at midfield, we knew that the game was going to be a bit of a battle, and it was going to be tough, and they were going to fight, and they were going to put their bodies on the line. And we line up with Liam Kelly, who's, he's experienced and everything else, but for me, I don't think it was the right call putting him in. And then up front, I don't think it was the right call putting, I'm going to say, Waggy. But it was one of those. I thought the team we put out was probably strong enough to beat them in a way. But then when you think about it the day after, that Kelly, it wasn't really the right call. You needed someone like Hamer to hustle and bustle in the middle. You needed Allen to push us forward. And but so my thoughts on the team originally was okay, apart from 2 players. But yeah, that's it for me.
Ken, I mean, 2 interesting omissions. I guess Gyökeres being one, but Mark Robins said in the post-match interview about the fact that he's played a lot of games this season. He's very tired, and he just wants to give him a day off, so to speak.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, or do you feel he should have started? And are we surprised Hamer was on the bench as well as Gyökeres? Could one of them have started, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, it should have been a strong enough side to beat them, but and if you play a weakened side in the FA Cup, then you're always going to be open to getting turned over. How many sides have done that? Look at Newcastle, have gone out as well. I don't know what sort of side Aston Villa had out tonight. They obviously got beat as well. But you're running that risk, aren't you? You're running that risk of them coming here, looking at the team sheet and thinking, we've got a chance here because their best players are not playing. They're on the bench or whatever. So you're running that risk. And we haven't got a big squad. We haven't got a big squad to do that, to be honest. We haven't really. got like a Man City squad where you can pick a completely different team, like they do, and they'll both do as well as each other. So I see where Robinson's coming from. He wants to try and rest a few players because we've got big games coming up. But personally, I think I would have started with a strong team and then take the players off once you're in the game and once you maybe got a 2 or 3-0 ahead, and then work it that way. Because I think a lot of the fans were a bit upset that he did make a few changes. But saying that, the back four, they've all played quite a few games. But the midfield was a bit weak. Probably we did miss Hamer and we did miss Jamie Allen, as Miles said. Does a lot of running, and they came. We knew what they'd be like. We knew they'd be up at us straight away, and they'd be up for it. And I just felt we give them a little bit of hope there with the team sheet that we put out. And maybe we should have started a little bit stronger, and then take the players off if as the game went on. Because I think if we'd have started with the team we finished with, we would have beat them. I really do.
Yeah.
All day long.
For me, I mean, I get Gyökeres being rested. The only thing I would say is that we've had quite a long break between with the World Cup and that. And we didn't have any midweek games on this last week. So you think was there not a way we could have found a way of getting even if I get the point about Gyökeres playing a lot of games, I would have got Hamer in the side personally. I think you need one of those guys in the team. Simon Moore, I get he wants to give him minutes. I'm not sure that was the best game, but he didn't cover himself in any glory at all, as we'll go into the game. But looking at the side, I just wasn't. I looked at the strikers. I thought Waghorn and Tavares. You've got one player who my finishing is probably better than Waghorn's from kicking to the ticket, and I think Tavares is raw. He's got pace. I thought in the brief time he was on the field of play before he came off injured, I thought he'd done okay. Actually, I thought he played well. He signed. I felt their defenders were struggling against him, and it was just unfortunate that he came off with an Achilles injury. And obviously, we all wish Fabio Tavares all the best for everyone at Sky TV.
Another injury we could have done without, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very frustrating, and it's very frustrating because he's a young guy, and it's just been that kind of season where we seem to be finding a way of losing players for a long period of time. I don't know if that's to do with the pitch or whatever, but that's for another conversation. Let's just go on to the game itself. I think let's get this out of the way. So I think Wrexham for me, first 20 minutes I thought were very good. And looking at the goals, let's look at the first goal. I feel there's a couple of problems here with the first goal. One, we don't stop the cross from coming in. There's three things actually. Two, Dalby scores the goal for Wrexham. He manages to get between Jake Bidwell and Michael Rose. And the third one is Simon Moore. Could if he's in a better position, could he come out of his line, punch it away, and then we thwart that attack? That for me, there's three problems with that goal in my opinion. It was just really, really poor. And in a game where you've got an opposition where they've got nothing to lose, their fans, probably the best fans I've seen, comes to CBS. You've got to quiet them down a bit, and we just were absolutely. The way we defended was a disgrace, in my opinion. It was dreadful, really, really poor. I don't know what your thoughts were.
I mean, for me, before we crack on, congratulations to Wrexham because they absolutely took it to us. They came. They seen their fans. They really took the game to us. It was a cracking cup tie. You can't knock it. It was a fantastic cup tie. And I get where you're coming from with the goals because I watched them back last night. And Panzo could have got up for one. The second one, I think, coming from the wide angle. Was it a cross? Was it a shot? But Simon Moore's he's got to be coming for that. He's got to be getting it. He's got to be getting a hand to it or whatever. People slate Wilson all the time about his distribution and things, but there's one thing about Simon Moore: when he comes for a ball, he comes for a ball. He doesn't sort of flap at it, and he sort of knows that he's going for that particular ball and he's going to come and claim the area. And for me, there wasn't enough leadership in that back four with the goalkeeper. I don't think Simon Moore was commanding enough. Ken and I spoke this morning. The long throw is fantastic. We haven't had one since Gunnarsson.
No.
I remember saying it last week, I think, on the preview that we got an equaliser against Newcastle at the CBS, then Rico, with his throw, came in and we got an equaliser. And we've always had a short throw, and it really bugs me because that throw is lethal. And we knew it. We said it all along that Wrexham will be dangerous at set pieces. Our back three aren't the greatest. People said if McFadzean was in there, maybe it might have been different. Yeah, but maybe it might have been, but it wasn't. If Doyle was in there, maybe he would have got it. But as we heard from Mark Robbins, we didn't even know when we interviewed him Tuesday that he had a little knock. So he was trying to rest him a little bit. But yeah, it was awful goals to concede in a way that we knew. And Mark Robbins had told the lads this is what they were going to do. And they obviously switched off. And that's what happens when you switch off, isn't it? You switch off and that you get punished. And we got punished. But do you know what was great? We got a goal back when we were 2-0 down. And to go and concede, we probably could have gone 2-2 before we conceded the third goal. Waghorn's shot was awful. Absolutely awful. And he was not even 6 yards out. And he's hit it straight at the keeper. Now, everyone goes on about, he brings so much to the team. If anyone's out there watching this, just message us and tells us what he brings to the team. Because it to shoot the way he did was awful. And Wrexham deserved it. And them set pieces, with the way we approached those set pieces, was just dreadful. And Robbins knows it. He knows it. They would have been in today and they would have sat in front of the TV and said, look, this is what you did yesterday. And they would have done, wouldn't they? They would have been in. So I thought the goals were sloppy, but fantastic. Fantastic for Wrexham because they created those chances and they made us make them mistakes. And, that's our sloppiness at the end of the day. And you're going to get punished. So,
yeah, I mean, we said it in the pod previously, didn't we? If you're not 100% in that game, you'll get turned over. We spoke with the Wrexham fans about it, and they said it, and we all agreed if you're not on the ball, you'll get turned over. And that's exactly what's happened. They'd done their homework. They knew how we played. They knew, how to create chances against us and cause us problems. But the problem was we didn't do our homework, or we didn't, do it correctly. We didn't follow the instructions that Mark Robbins gave to the players. They obviously switched off completely and just failed to respond. And it wasn't good enough first half. Simple as that. I mean, it was a bit devastating to concede that goal right on half time as well. Because I think if you were running in 2-1, we had a fighting chance. 3-1's a bit of a mountain to climb, but we still had a chance. But it's still a bit of a mountain, and it turned out that way, didn't it?
Well, let's go back to the second goal. So Elliot Lee scores 18th minute of the game, and for me, Simon Moore, everyone will know, and the whole ground will see that he's completely at fault for that one. Wide of the area, almost a cross come shot. One of those ones where I think Simon Moore was probably not 100% sure whether it was going to go out for it. Just lack of decision making. Poor footwork, he's static. He's not moving his feet. Oggy said it on CWR. As a keeper himself, you got to follow the line of the ball, and that's what he wasn't doing. He wasn't following the ball, doing the basics as a goalkeeper, and he just got completely flat-footed, and you got caught in two minds. It was a really, really poor goal to concede. I mean, I was sitting in the East Stand in Block 20. I was kind of in a good view of it, and I thought this is going to go in. I couldn't believe it. It just literally just didn't react. It was one of the worst goals I've seen us concede this season. It was absolutely disgusting, that goal. The way we conceded it was a disgrace. And I was absolutely fuming. And then 2-0 up, it gives them a lot of confidence. But yeah, I mean, Ken, not much more to add than that. So really, it was just shocking, wasn't it?
Well, it was it was bad. There were bad goals. The first half there was players out there that just wasn't performing up to the standard. They weren't switched on, and Panzo was one of them who's been quite good at late, to be fair, but he just wasn't at the game, and there was, I don't know what he was doing. He was just all over the shop, and there's a few of them out there like the same, and it just wasn't good enough first half performance. And they had been told. What's annoying is they had been told. They've been warned previously about Wrexham, about the long throws and about the set pieces, but they didn't heed to it, did they? And obviously they got punished for it. And it's a mountain decline when you're giving their. We all know they'd bring a lot of fans, and we needed to keep them quiet. Don't give them the ball. Don't give them away any silly free kicks or anything like that, or any stupid goals. And that's it. We did the completely opposite and played into their hands, really, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
There's a couple of comments here. There's one from Cov fan in North Wales, bless him. I bet he's having a hard time today. Yeah, Paul Hughes. Sky Blues fan in North Wales. Not great, but Wrexham played well, and their fans were brilliant. Their fans were fantastic, weren't they?
Fans
Mark,
were fantastic.
You touched on it, didn't you, Mark?
Yeah.
They were out of the world. They were a different grade. They were like they reminded me of when we were in League Two and League One, and when you're in the playoff semi-final at Nottingham, and it just went mental, didn't they? Sold out and just really took on the occasion. Glenn's popped up, bless him. Good evening, Glenn. Game was lost in 2 spells, conceding first 2 goals and the third on half-time. Panzo had a shocker and Moore is at fault for the second goal. We were miles better in the second half and could have got a result. That's a good point. That's
we
a
could have
real
won
good
that
point.
We could have won that. I'm telling you now, we could have won that game yesterday. As unbelievable as it sounds, you look at the chances we missed in that second half.
Yeah.
We had enough chances there to have won that game, and that's what you could see. You could see that Wrexham were really struggling fitness-wise. They were struggling. We had them on the ropes.
There's no doubt about it. They were hanging on in the end. They were
really hanging on, and that's what frustrates me even more. We didn't. I mean, going back to the selection, all that. There's a lot of people. There are people out there criticising Mark Robins about selection, but Mark Robins is saying to these players, this is your opportunity to shine for me. This is your opportunity to say, if we get an injury in the league, I'm going to be your man to come in and do the job. And the players didn't do their jobs. It's nothing to do with Mark Robins. It's players not taking opportunities, be it the first half where we concede soft goals and the second half where we're missing chances, and it's not good enough. And it's everyone. Everyone's missed. Those guys. It's not just the fringe players that we all know, but it's even guys like Casey Palmer, who I think by all accounts had a great game, but he missed chances. Jamie Allen misses a chance. It's just bitterly frustrating that we come off this game and with a defeat. It was absolutely disgraceful, and I just feel that a lot of those players have let themselves down badly. And obviously, Robinson's post-match comments about they might have to look beyond Coventry City tells its own story, because it's. Yeah. I mean, that will come. We'll talk a bit more of that in a bit more detail. But let's go back to the first.
Can I just say about Casey Palmer, Mark? Casey Palmer, I'm going to stick up for him on this one, mate. He got man of the match, and do you know what? He scored a direct free kick, the first one in 2 seasons. I think James was the last one to score a direct free kick at Blackburn.
Yeah.
First season in the Championship.
I think Casey Palmer is one of our, from the starting 11 was probably our best player yesterday, one of our best players. But
definitely.
It doesn't excuse the fact that he's missed a couple, one really good chance near the end. He puts it over the bar with his left foot. Nice cutback. I think it might have been Todd Kane, and he puts it over. I think Todd Kane missed a chance as well. It's just like, how are we missing these chances? Literally Wrexham were we were playing direct football, and they couldn't cope with us. And I'm just so angry about it. But anyway, let's just go back a couple of steps to the first half. We get back into the game. Ben Sheaf scores, really good goal. And actually, to Rackhorn's credit, he does set up the goal. Nice cutback to Ben Sheaf, who plays it in. And then that time we had a good spell, didn't we, Miles, where we actually played probably our best that was our best sort of spell in the first half. After 2-1, we looked like a team. We looked more like a championship side again. We actually started to dominate territorially, if I say that word again. And we looked a good side, and I thought I think we're going to come back to this game and maybe draw it 2-2. And we looked pretty good, didn't we? That little spell in the first half before the third goal.
Yeah, definitely. I think we for me when Victor came on, I know it's a shame Tavares went off, and do you know what? Tavares looked really on fire. To be honest, he was getting in behind and he was creating some lovely stuff. But when Vic come on and Ben Sheaf, he struck that goal really well. He struck the ball lovely and hard and low on a real slippery surface because we had all that rain all day, didn't we? It was raining all day. And then, as you just said, when we got back to 2-1, we did start looking like we would get back into the game. And we was playing some good football. I think Vic, that ball over the top for me, down the wings for Vic, he absolutely loves it, and he just turns them and he goes. And I think there was a situation just before they got their goal, their third goal, where Vic was on the right-hand side and Vic got pulled down. And it was right in front of the linesman, or linesperson, sorry. And nothing was flagged. Referee didn't even give it. And it was a blatant foul on Victor. They pulled him right down to the floor as he's turned the player. And then a couple of minutes later, they've gone up the other end, got a throw in, and they've scored. But yeah, I totally agree. We started looking like a proper team again when Victor come on and when we got it to 2-1. But, you know, that happened, didn't it? So...
Yeah, because I noticed that they put up 7 minutes. It's probably the only game I've seen this season where it's been 7 minutes added on time first half, 7 minutes added on time second half. So yeah, that was I've never seen a game where it's been so much added on time. And of course, they get the third goal. And again, it's Ben Tozer's long throw that we just don't defend. We don't deal with it. I don't know. Ken, tell me what went wrong with that goal.
Yeah. Well, they didn't win the headers, did we? We weren't on it, and they had 3 headers, and it was a bit of a ping pong situation, wasn't it? One header to another, and then before you know it was in the back of the net. So we had a good 2 or maybe 3 opportunities to win that header before they did, and they won them all 3. You know, and the ball was in the back of the net. So, you know, there's something wrong there somewhere. We just wasn't first to the ball, and it's very poor from our standard, really, because you know we have been pretty good in that situation this season so far. We don't concede many goals like that, but it was a very, very poor goal to concede from our point of view. It is to lose 3 headers like that, you know, in close concession like it was, and then the ball ends up in the back of the net, and that's very poor. And I'm sure Mark Robbins will be playing the video of that back to them to see what's going on and who should have won that header, you know, and who should have won there before the ball came in originally. So you know, it was a catalogue of errors, I think, for that goal. Yeah.
Miles, I mean, could Moore have done anything better with that third goal, do you think? Or do you think it's just down to the defenders, that one?
Do you know what? You could say, could Moore come out for it? Maybe he could. Maybe he could come for the cross. Or, again, Panzo, Rose and everyone, they just didn't win anything in the air in the first half. And it was just dodgy. It just didn't work for us. So... You know, Wrexham deserved it, to be honest. I can't say any more. It was just awful defending for set pieces that we knew that was going to happen. And as I say to you, fair play to Wrexham. And, you know, for 60, we've just got a comment here. I'll just quickly bring it up because I'm just about to mimic what he's saying. Andy Griffiths, he come on the other night when the Wrexham fans were on. Good evening, Andrew. Wrexham out-battled Coventry until 65 minutes. Absolutely, because this is exactly what I was just about to say. Before we go on to the second half. But he's right. You know, for 65 minutes, they absolutely drove us to despair. And even the fans, you know, drove fans to despair. I was seeing fans walking out after the 4th goal went in. People were walking out. And, you know, they really did take it to us. And he says here, though, the ref gave a lot to Coventry. Did he? I think he...
I don't think so.
No, I think I think he gave a little bit more to Wrexham, but and he could quote me wrong on this, but I had 2 messages off to Wrexham fans last night saying that we should have had a blatant penalty in the second half, and the referee missed it. So in that respect, no, I think he gave. Huh?
Is that one?
Yeah,
Vic,
the one.
it?
Yeah, the one on Vic. Yeah. So that's a blatant penalty. That they pulled him to the floor. They've sent me photos of it, and he's literally got his arms around him, pulling him to the floor. And that's one of them. And then he says we missed 2 sitters in the last 5 minutes. Yeah, we did miss 2 sitters. You've mentioned that about Palmer and Kane, and Wrexham were the better team. Well, you say they're the best team. They were the best team for 65 minutes, and then Coventry with 10 men were the best team. So
yeah, bizarrely, we looked a lot better with 10 men, didn't we?
Well, we were playing with 9 from the beginning anyway, so it don't really matter, does it?
Yeah.
we looked a hell of a lot better with 10. I don't know why. We just attacked what we were doing, the things we should have been doing in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, I think looking at, just moving on to sort of second half and the penalty decision. The referee for me, he says that we got more decisions, but he gave Wrexham a penalty, quite an important decision in the game. He sends off Jonathan Panzo, and to be fair, the referee gets it spot on for me because, it's blatant handball, so there's no question of the penalty. It's stopping a goal scoring opportunity. So in the laws of association football, that is a red card offence. So I
want to question you on that, Mark, actually, because the goalkeeper was behind the player. So the goalkeeper still had it does matter. It does matter because in my view, that would yes, it's a penalty, no doubt about it. It's handball penalty, but the double jeopardy law, as they say, same with a tackle. If you tackle and you make a genuine attempt to get the ball, it's a yellow card, but it's not a red card. You still get the penalty. But if you dive in 2-footed, then that's a red card, obviously. This with a handball, yes, it was a handball, there's no doubt about it. But the keeper, positioning of our keeper, was behind him, so the keeper still had a chance to save that shot. He might not have, but he still had a chance. So in my view, it wasn't like an open goal.
More in fairness, but yeah,
it wasn't like an open goal, and he's tipped it round the post. And there's no goalkeeper, and that's different. That's obviously a red card. In my view, I thought it was quite harsh to send it off. That's my personal view. I thought
that's fine.
Quite harsh.
It's a key.
Do you know what though?
Regardless of that.
Do you know something about that red card and that handball? McFadzean got away with one at Luton. He did exactly the same. So we got away with one, but we didn't get away with this one. So it don't matter.
Yep. The other shot I was saying earlier about Gyökeres. Now the angle I had of it, it looked like the player got the ball, but I'm wondering whether he got Vic first before he got to the ball. So it could have been a penalty. But I did see from the angle I had of it, looking on the other side. I think you wasn't knee stand, was you, Miles? Was you in the dugout?
Singer's corner.
You Singer's corner. Okay, fine. I was in block 20. So
yeah, I was the opposite end. I was in dugout.
The angle I had of it, it looked like he got the ball, but I'm wondering if he got the player, got Vic as well, kind of scenario. It's one of those ones where you get them or you don't get them kind of scenario. It's unfortunately went against us. I was hoping he was going to give it, but anyway. But
you say that about the penalty though. That was one very slim. The main one was when he got wrestled to the ground. Vic literally got pulled to the ground.
Yeah, he had his hands all over him, didn't he? He was all over.
Yeah. And it was about 5 minutes to go, I think. I think that was about 5 minutes to go.
Yes,
like
that.
that.
I think I know what you're saying now.
Yeah. And that's the one I'm on about. It was blatant, and I've seen photos of it, everything. And the Wrexham fans were sending me the photos last night, and it is blatant. He's pulling him down. And in the World Cup, in the Premier League, it's a penalty all day long. If you had VAR there,
we just about to say with VAR. This is the situation with VAR, where certain games in the FA Cup this season have got VAR because they've got a Premiership stadium. Any game that played at a Premiership stadium can use VAR. We didn't have VAR yesterday because we haven't got it. Because we're not a Premiership stadium, which I think is wrong. I think it should be a level playing field across the board. You either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
I don't see why if we're playing at Old Trafford. for example, we'd have probably got a penalty if it was the same scenario. Whereas if we played at our ground at CBS, we wouldn't have. And that seems a bit unfair to me. But that's the rules they've gone with this season for some bizarre reason. So it's a look at the draw. Whatever ground you're playing at, you might have VAR, you might not.
Yeah.
I just want to say, can I just say thank you to everyone at the moment? Because thanks to everyone watching. You're absolutely getting on board with this. The amount of comments we've got here, I don't think we're going to get through them all tonight, Mark. It's just phenomenal. So thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Yeah, go on, read some. Shall I read them, or do you want to read them?
You can read some, and I'll
okay, go on. Where is it? This one here. I'm going to read this one. This is pretty good from official Flame Esports team. Dabo isn't a right wing back anymore. Kelly needs to play in a midfield trio. Tavares' injury, massive blow. Doyle is our best centre half. Panzo is way off form, although not sure Penn was a red card personally. That's what you just said, didn't you, Ken?
Yeah, I don't think it's a red card.
So the thoughts on Dabo there as a right wing back anymore. For me personally, I think he's had enough of being at Coventry City from the last few games I've seen him, even though he's come back from injury.
I think with Dabo, it's a fitness thing for me, because when he's playing his best, he's really mobile, he's quick, he bombs forward and he tracks back. And there is a player there in him, but the last few games, not to talk about yesterday, but you look at previous games, Cardiff game, Bristol City game, certainly Cardiff game where I went to, he just looks off the pace completely. And maybe it's just building up his fitness. Maybe it hasn't helped that we haven't had, a couple of games with the World Cup break, but he's not the player that I'm used to seeing. And he's been I think what we've got to say, Dabo, is that he's been a great servant for us. He was part of that squad that got us into the Championship in the first place.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to knock someone down right now. But and the same with Liam Kelly. But these guys are, they're an important part of our history, because they've got us to the Championship. They've been really good servants to the club. So I think it's very easy to criticise Dabo now on current form, but Dabo has been a really good servant for the club. I mean, he's out of contract like Kelly at the end of the season, and obviously Mark Robbins has to make a decision on that. Personally speaking, I don't think the time to judge him is now. I think there's still 20, 22, 23 games, just over halfway through the season. So I don't think we should write him off just yet, but he needs to improve his fitness, and he's got a lot to prove, because obviously now we've got the new guy who's come in from on loan from Arsenal, who's probably playing Dabo's position. So yes, I think I don't think he took that chance yesterday, and I think that's one of those players that Robbins was alluding to in the post-match. Obviously, there's others we'll get to, but yeah, disappointing. But I mean, Dabo for me has been a brilliant servant for the club. I don't think we should forget that, to be honest.
No, definitely not. Mick Davenport has put the game was more embarrassing than Sutton United. At least the players tried then. Well, for me, I thought the players played great after 65 minutes yesterday. They definitely gave it their all, didn't they?
It's not a case of not trying. I think it's just a case of we couldn't cope with their physicality, with crossing.
Yeah.
It's not just above. It's everyone, particularly defensively. It's not a case of not trying. It's just we don't deal with key moments in games. Those crosses. No one gets across for the first goal. More doesn't come out, and and it's just things like that that's frustrating. But I don't think you can put it down to a lack of effort. I just think it's down to just poor decision making from the players, in my opinion.
We got Wayne's put here. It was a team that should have beat a non-league side. Do you think that? Do you think that was that first team that in the first half should have beat a non-league side?
Yeah, they should have.
Yeah,
on paper,
so.
Definitely could have. Yeah,
absolutely. We should be. It should be a team that, this is why Mark Robbins wants to give guys like Gyökeres a rest, because he's played a lot of games for us, as he said in the post-match interview, and I think he mentioned he took a whack on the calf as well. So as I said before, I'd have gone Hamer to start, but that's by the by. But yeah, I mean, looking at the starting 11, I think we had the players there to, you know, to win. You know, and but it didn't happen, did it? So
Yeah. Sky Blue Sam. Ref was awful. At least Villa lost today. Palmer, massive positive. Sheaf did well. Need to make some tough decisions moving forward. Dug in and hopefully 2 or 3 more faces. BNC will be a good signing.
yeah,
That's a young from Arsenal, isn't it?
Arsenal, yeah.
Yeah, Lawson Cuffy. I think,
yeah.
I mean, I've seen some of the footage of Brooke Norton Cuffy at Rotherham, and the sort of the comments I've been reading from Rotherham fans has been very good player going forwards, got bags of pace. Defensively, he's a bit suspect, but yeah, I think he's someone that I feel could improve the squad. And the interesting thing about that signing now is that really, I think, means the end of Todd Kane at Coventry City. I don't see him staying on beyond this season. I'd be very, very surprised. So,
no, I think you'll find a few moving on. I think there'll be a few moving on to pastures new, probably 2 or 3, maybe 4. Moving on, and then you got to bring new faces in, which is what happens. That's football, and we need to move up to the next level, don't we? And Robbins knows what players he needs and what players he needs to ship out. And I'm sure he'll have a list of players that he's after, and hopefully to take over when everything goes through, which is hopefully soon. He can move and start bringing players in.
Yeah. Ken Otomo's put up here. He says, "What is done is done. Water under the bridge. We can talk about it forever and ever. Changes nothing." Well, he's right though, and it doesn't change anything, does it? No. But the big thing is now, like you've just said, Ken, how do we move forward on this? Well, I mean, what I heard with Robin's interview last night in the car on the way back was he wasn't happy. People were knocking on his door why they're not playing. He turned around and said, "Well, that's why you're not playing," and I'll tell them that. And I think he slipped up as well. He said, we're still waiting news on the EFL confirmation. He stopped halfway through the confirmation word and went, the new owner revealed. So Doug King was there yesterday. So it looks like the deal's done, but obviously maybe he didn't want to face the public after his mum's just passed away. So,
I think the way we move forward is we simply got to get this Doug King situation rubber stamped by the EFL, and obviously that's beyond the club's control. But that is a massive thing this month. We need players. We've got a very, very small squad. We're picking up injuries pretty much every game now, and I look at games. Next 2 games, you've got Burnley and Norwich, and to be honest with you, I'm really thinking we're getting absolutely slaughtered by Burnley, and I don't see us getting anything against Norwich. And for me, being pessimistic, I'm thinking we've got to get to 50 points, and try and stay up this season. I know it sounds really negative, but I'm being realistic. We could lose with Gyökeres for all we know in January. We don't know that, and we've got to find a way of picking up 15 points. I'm not even thinking about playoffs this season. I know we're only 4 points, but we've got to be realistic. We've got no players. Unless Doug King gets ratified by the EFL and Robbins gets the players he wants, then fine. We can then talk about, can we push for a playoff spot? But right now, as it is, with the current situation we're in, with the players that we've got available for selection, I'm just thinking about how many points we can need to stay up. And that might sound negative, but at the moment, we just look all over the place at the moment. And it's a massive concern of mine. I know we touched on the previous show in December about what can we do this season, and you're confident in saying playoffs. And I'm telling you now, we could be in a dogfight. If we lose Gyökeres, we're in a massive dogfight. We've got no strikers other than him. Raikkonen for me is not good enough. He needs to be gone as soon as possible. And Tavares is out. We've got nobody. We might have to play Palmer as a makeshift striker. It's getting beyond the joke now. So Mark Robbins needs help, and that's the big thing. He needs help. We need Doug King in, and we need to get the players that Robbins needs to get us up to a position where we can at least stay up this season, on mid-table.
DJ Smith is here, I think. Yeah, it is DJ Smithy. Evening, DJ Smithy. If you don't know who DJ Smithy is, he's the DJ down at Dillon's, and he was over at Birmingham, but he's now converted Cov City fan. Wait for it now to come up at the bottom.
He's seen the light. Seen the light.
He says, gents, you can't take anything out of the game yesterday. Wrexham had the advantage as they had nothing to lose. They came and executed their game plan exactly how they wanted it. A bit of luck, and you would have had a better day.
Yeah, you do need a bit of luck, don't you? You do need a bit of luck.
Yeah.
You need decisions to go your way. And I think the sending off was obviously a bit of a turning point as well. They had, it was a penalty. We could have easily had a penalty. We've hit the post, we've hit the bar. So one of those goes in. It changes again, doesn't it? And there was no doubt about it. They were on the ropes for the last 15 minutes. So they were struggling, weren't they? And it was just everybody was thinking it's just a matter of time before we score again. But it didn't happen, and they hung on in the end. And I think they were relieved at the final whistle.
Well, considering we hit the post twice, we hit the crossbar. I mean,
yeah. Well, you look at the stat. I think it's 22 shots we had compared with something like 13 or 14, something like that. So we certainly had more chances and more shots. But it wasn't our day, I suppose, and it was one of them. And you need a little bit of luck. We didn't have much luck, and it all went for them in the end of the day. But we didn't help ourselves, did we, by the awful defending in the first half, and it left us with a mountain to climb in a second.
But I think the big turning point second half from our point of view was the Hamer bringing Hamer on. Once Hamer came on, we were completely different side. We looked at the team like how we have been playing well in the Championship, and it's the way that it's not just the way he brings players into the game with his passing, but his tracking back was good. His winning tackles when Wrexham were having the ball on our half, he was winning that ball and he was starting that attack. And that was the thing that we really missed in that first half. We didn't have anyone who could win possession and then try and start a counter-attack. We were too soft. We got bullied too easily. And it was just really, really poor. I'd like to swear, but I don't really want to swear. But it's just not good enough, And no, it's not good enough. And once Hamer came on, then we looked like a team that they looked like the National League side and we looked like the Championship side when he came on. We looked like a side that were totally bossing that game because we absolutely battered them, and we should have, not been funny, we should have won that game yesterday. The amount of chances we missed, I wouldn't have been happy with a 4-4. We should have won that game. We should have won 5.
And we had 10, and at that stage we had 10 men.
Yeah. And Wrexham were on, every time we launched it forward direct, they couldn't cope. Jokeres was bullying them going forward, and they weren't very strong. They were vulnerable. And we had them on the ropes, and it's bitterly disappointing that we come off that game with a defeat. It's not good enough. We should have won that game. I'm so angry. I'm winding myself up talking about it. It's just so frustrating. I'm really angry.
Yeah, we have to move on. We can't change it. But whatever we do, whatever we say, we've just got to move on.
But I think the takeaway from the game is we've got to improve physically. When we're playing against sides that with crosses and long throws, we've got to be better than that. I know in Championship it's different because Championship is more about pass and move and opening up space for opposition. When you're playing against other teams, they open up from physicality. It just reminded me of the bad days of the League 2 days, the League 1 days, where we're losing games because we're getting out-muscled by the opposition. And that's what happened yesterday. We got out-muscled too easily,
But we've always said we've been a light team. We've been a light team for years, and we've never really ever got anything muscly in the middle or anywhere. We've always been a side that wants to pass the ball and play our pretty football. But going on to where you were saying about the ball over to Vic, I thought that was our way in to get the equaliser last night. That ball over the top to Vic, they couldn't cope with him. The two centre halves couldn't cope with him. They were struggling big style. He was just literally pushing them out the way and, getting on the ball, and he just really caused them trouble. And maybe if he had started from the beginning with Tavares, maybe, that probably might have been the only change we probably needed to make, was to play him instead of Waghorn. Richard's just jumped up here. Rich, get back to work, mate. You weren't even there yesterday. Have a word with yourself. Whoever puts the ball in the net, then the opposition deserves to win the game. Go away, Rich. Get back to
Is it
work.
Wrexham? Is it-
Don't always.
No, he weren't there yesterday. He couldn't be bothered to go. We got 100 points for going yesterday. Those people didn't go. Don't get 100 points. Someone agrees with you, Ken. I've lost the comment, but there was a comment up here about VAR and said that they agree with you where VAR it should be either in every game in the competition or not used at all, even at Premiership grounds. I'm just trying. I can't find who said it.
It's an unfair advantage, isn't it? And we're all supposed to be equal in this competition. It's supposed to be equal across the board.
Yeah.
And I just think if you get drawn at a Premiership ground, for example, then you've got VAR. Simple as that.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you won't get it. And that's wrong.
No, that's right. Yeah. I've lost the. I think someone agreed with you on that one. Can I ask you both a question? Where do you think we go from here?
I think we've got to wait, obviously, till the takeover goes through, which hopefully will be soon. So I'm hearing, and once that's rubber stamped, I think, and once we've got a few more bodies in the squad to help Robbins out, I don't see any reason why we can't continue our good form in the league. But we need bodies, We can't at the moment. We're struggling, with the players we've got. We've got another injury with Tavares now, so he's out. So we can't carry on much longer with the squad we've got. We need to, there's no reason for me. If we get if the takeover goes through in the next week or so, and we get the players in that Robbins wants, I think we can still put a good challenge in for the playoffs, because this league is so tight. There's only a matter of points and a couple of wins and you're up there. Very, very tight between the bottom half and the top. So, yeah, definitely. There's no doubt about it in my mind. We get the players that Robbins wants in the next week or so, or next couple of weeks, then I think we can still mount a challenge.
Mark?
Yeah, I think a lot hinges on the Doug King situation. We keep saying every day it's imminent, and it's been imminent for the last God knows how long now, 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's dragging on.
It's just like that. From a selfish point of view, we need to know kind of now, because what I don't want is let's look at the other point of view. Let's say it doesn't happen. Okay, let's think of the worst possible scenario where it doesn't get approved and we're left with CC. What happens next? What happens then? If a Premier League club comes sniffing around for Gyökeres with an offer, are we going to sell? And then if they sell Gyökeres, are we going to get a player in? And these are things that it's still uncertain for me. So there's a lot of uncertainty, and until we have that news, it's difficult to say. But we need bodies. There's no question. If the situation remains unchanged, I'm looking at Burnley, I'm looking at Norwich. I think we're very lucky to get 1 point from them 2 games. To be honest, I think Burnley we're going to get absolutely battered. If we can keep it to 1 or 2-0, I'll be happy with that. No, seriously, I think we'll get battered at Burnley because we're playing top of the league.
Well,
I've seen people say...
Can I just stop you there? I think you said that when we were going to Fulham last year. Fulham away.
But based on what I saw yesterday, and even the games previously, like Bristol City and the Cardiff City home match, it's not filling me with much optimism at the moment. We've lost arguably our best player in Callum O'Hare for the season. Palmer, in fairness, is doing a really, really good job. I think he's doing a fantastic job, and hopefully he'll be fit enough for Saturday. But I don't have any confidence at Burnley. We're playing top of the league, probably the best side in the division. Well, the league table tells you that. And I'll be happy to lose maybe 1 or 2-0, because I don't see us getting anything at Burnley. I think people have said on social media it would be the COV thing if we go and beat them after losing to Wrexham, but I've got absolutely no confidence that we'll get a result at Burnley for that game. And then Norwich, I think Norwich is probably a game we can get a result from because they've been a bit patchy, and we're at home to them. But obviously that's that one. I think we've got more of a chance against them. I will say that. But Burnley, you can forget about Burnley. We don't have a chance at Burnley, in my opinion.
Kyle Holler's come in here. He says, gutted about Tavares' injury. Well, we're having bad luck at the moment with the injuries. Yeah, definitely. Touch me out on. But at least Matty Godden will be back very soon. Well, we asked the lads the other night, didn't we? They said he's not on the grass yet, didn't they, Ken?
Yeah, so he's a few weeks away yet. My suggestion, I don't think we'll see Matty Godden until at least the beginning of February, sometime in February. So he's a few more weeks away, I think. But we could do with him back now, really. But that's just the way it goes. We just haven't got enough players at the moment, and Robbins knows that. And I think he's got a couple of loan signings lined up. So hopefully he can push the button on them in the next week or so.
Well, we can have 2 more, can't we? Because you're allowed 5, aren't you?
Yeah. We need to get some loans. I mean, attacking midfielder. I would like to see possibly. I mean, I think Norton Cuffy, I think, can play on the left-hand side as well, from what I understand. I think he was utilised at Rotherham on the right. I think he can play on the left as well. So I think that's a positive signing. I think he'll be someone I think is someone we need. But we need options in attack and we need a striker. We desperately.
Yeah, and there's rumours about Jamie Patterson and all that as well from Swansea. That's all rumours, but maybe they're just waiting. Obviously, it's all hinging on this takeover. I think because that's what provides the funds and provides the wages. So until you get that, I suppose you can't do anything.
Yeah, he'll be a great addition if we can get Jamie Patterson. If we can get him in time for Burnley, that would be absolutely brilliant because he's a really, really good player. He's a championship footballer. He's exactly
he's an attacking player as well, and an exciting player. He scores goals as well, doesn't he? Well, he always scores against us.
Yeah. So if we can get him on board, that'd be absolutely fantastic because I think he'll bring a lot to the team. But yeah, there's just too much uncertainty at the moment. We just need that certainty of who's going to run the club. How is he going to sort of fund the money for Mark Robbins to get the players he wants? Because no doubt about it, if we don't get these players in, we are in big, big trouble, in my opinion. Yeah,
I noticed Patterson, by the way, wasn't even in the Swansea squad today. They played their game. He wasn't in the squad at all.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that would make me think that he's on his way out. So I'm hoping that we can snap him up. Got any more comments you want to bring up? Let's have a look.
Got one here. I think this is relating to Dabo and everyone that's sort of underperformed. They are very, like you said, Mark, about Kelly and that, they're very important to the team. But times move and we need to move it forward with the club, really. So is it time that they go? Personally, I'm not going to say anything out of text, but it's just one of those, and Robbins can be ruthless. I mean, as this Sky Blues View just said, Jack Grimmer, he was vital to the squad, and Robbins was ruthless and got rid of him straight away. So he was angry last night, Robbins, and I can see that if this Doug King does get through the books and it does come through, I can see Robbins I can see him going mad. I can see him just kicking some people out and bringing some fresh faces in if he's got the money. I just want. I said it on the Wrexham pod last week. I says all I want is we all want, and I'm speaking hopefully for you guys and all the Cov City fans. Instead of hearing Robbins saying we've missed the target, we had someone lined up, we couldn't afford him, or the wages were too high, we've missed out on someone. I just want him to have a bit of luck to be able to go, I managed to get a player that I want. Like he said this week, I managed to get Brook. He's wanted him in the summer. Couldn't get it over the line.
Apparently he went for him in the summer,
In the summer. They couldn't get him over the line. And when he played against us for Rotherham, he looked pretty good. He looked tasty. And I think we were sat there, Will and I, we were sat there and we're going, like the look of him. And he did. He looked the bee's knees. He was quick. So that's someone Robbins has got already. This is what makes me think the deal's already been done. The deal's approved. Because how is it we've got him straight away? I don't.
Yeah.
Because if there was a hiccup at the beginning of the season, how come that hiccup's not there anymore? Something's happened behind the scenes for that.
Maybe there's a very little money involved probably in that, but even so,
well,
it's
the wages. It's wages, isn't it?
It's wages,
you know?
And we're paying his wages, I'm assuming, because he's on loan with us.
Well, we're certainly paying.
We'll pay a percentage.
Yeah.
We'll pay a percentage.
And they'll have some sort of agreement about how many sort of games he has to play or whatever. But
Got one. Go on.
Oh, go on. David Granigan. We need another striker and someone to fill in for O'Hare's shoes and a centre back. Agree with that, boys.
Yeah, definitely agree with that.
Yeah, go on, Matt. What was your one?
Well, I mean, centre back. That's not the option we spoke about. I mean, Aidan Flint has been made available by Stoke. I mean, why can't we look at someone like him because he's an experienced Championship defender. He's played at Bristol City. He's played at Cardiff City. He's not featured much for Stoke, but he's someone who'd give you much needed experience, but also his physicality as well. He's a big defender. I feel we missed that a bit. We missed that. I think McFadden is a huge blow. I think he's someone I'd like to see come to the club, but obviously I don't know what your thoughts are on Flint. Is he someone that you might think, I would like to see him come to Cov, or are you a bit undecided?
Well, possibly. I mean, he's a decent player, isn't he? Robbins should know about him. I presume he'll know about him. So, yeah, he's the sort of player we need. But he might have. We don't know. He might have somebody else lined up. You don't know. All depends. It all depends on the money situation and the wages of people that are players and that are demanding, isn't it? So we have got a budget. We're not the biggest budget in the world, are we? We're probably one of the lowest at the moment. That might change once the takeover goes up. We might have bigger budget then to play with. So we're better attracting better quality players then. So we won't miss out on as many as we have done in the past.
Yeah.
Right, got some more comments I'm going to bring up. It's clear to see from an official Flame Esports team. It's clear to see that Norton Cuffy has come in to start, and he looks like a Dujon Sterling. We need to be smarter. Dabo might be better in the back four. Kane looked very good again. We need Faz and Godden back as soon as possible. Yeah, I think that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Not so sure about Dabo as a back three, though, personally. That's just something I would say to that.
Yeah, I was just about to mimic that. I was just, he's a bit too small, I think. We've been on about, we've been hustled off the ball. We've not cleared the headers. One of the goals, Dabo's tried to clear and he hasn't cleared it and it's come back in. You can't have Dabo as a centre back or as a flat back four or one of the three in the back five. He's too small for me. If people are saying we need height, Dabo's not the answer, is he?
No.
Simple as, So
I mean, to be fair, McFadden's done that most of the season. He's had a fantastic season, and we certainly missed him today, didn't we? If he was playing yesterday, then I don't think some of them goals would not have been conceded. I just got that feeling because he would have been there, and he'd have won a few of their headers, and he would have been organising them a bit better at the back.
Yeah. So, someone's just put here, will the Preston game be on a midweek? Yeah, it will now. Ken, you were telling me earlier, we could miss out on a weekend in Blackpool.
We could, unfortunately, because Blackpool, who have been drawn away at Southampton, by the way, in the Cup, you'll be pleased to know, if they win that game, then our game at Blackpool will also be switched because it's the same day as the FA Cup round, the following round. So we're hoping for a Southampton win there. So the game against Blackpool will go ahead as normal then. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Preston is midweek now, unfortunately.
Unbelievable. Danny's put up here, SBFTV Fans TV, more needs to be dropped next game. Well, Danny, I think he will be, mate. He's only coming for the FA Cup, didn't he, lads?
Yeah, he's only coming.
Yeah,
He won't play that game anyway. Yeah. Ben Wilson will be back.
Yeah.
You know.
Got one positive message actually.
Go on.
Sky Blue View. Look at the game after starting. We beat Norwich at their place, and then they were second in the league. Burnley there for the taking, so I like a bit of positivity there. Obviously, going completely against what I just said.
Look, it's 11 against 11 on the day, and as we've said before, as we all know, if you're not up for it on the day, you're playing below your percentage that you should be playing, then you get beat.
Yeah.
There's one here from Sky Blue View. We've already touched on Patterson. Lowe from that from Bournemouth, isn't it?
Jamal Lowe, yeah.
That'd be good. That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it?
I've got a post on social media. I would love him in. He's quality.
And how about Anderson?
That'd be just tremendous. That Lowe.
Yeah. No, I'm not sure about Anderson, but Jamal Lowe would be brilliant. Quality player at Bournemouth. Yeah, he'd be brilliant.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And there's good to have a Wrexham fan on as well. From them.
Go on then.
Good podcast, Miles. Thank you for being complimentary about Wrexham. We had a good day out, and into the next round. I think a lot of us underestimate them. Our fans are the best and continue on the FA Cup. I certainly didn't underestimate Wrexham. I thought I knew it would be a tough game. It was a game I really dreaded. Actually, I just felt it was a game. If we weren't on it mentally and physically, we would lose, and that's how it turned out. I thought Wrexham were a credit. Their team were absolutely brilliant yesterday. Their supporters were a credit to the team and to their town. They were absolutely fantastic. So, you know, it was, as you said, Mark, well done to Wrexham, and you know, good luck in the next round. And I'm sure it won't be long before they'll be back in the Football League, because obviously we're a Football League club.
They were fantastic. To be fair, you know, the fans were brilliant yesterday. And fair play to them. They've come here and they've done the job, and they've took away a victory, which was deserved. We weren't on it on the day. We got warned about it. We didn't take them warnings, and we got punished for it. So they were, at the end of the day, they scored 4 goals away from home. Which what more can you ask for? And they won. And fair play to them, and good luck to them in the next round. They got a nice home draw against Sheffield United, I believe, haven't they? So
the thing is, some fans didn't underestimate them, like yourselves, us. We didn't underestimate them. We knew what team they were made up of. They were made of League One players. They were made of League Two players. If Hamer weren't on the bench and Vic weren't on the bench last night, their bench would have been worth more than our bench put together. So we didn't. It was the player. Some of the players went out there with the mindset that they just didn't perform, and Wrexham absolutely took it to us. They were fantastic, and the fans. Brilliant. Fans were fantastic. They come down to Dillon's. It was brilliant. They were all talking. They were all talking to Cov fans. Cov fans talking to them. It was such an amazing atmosphere. It was what football is all about. Community, fans talking to each other, having a good laugh, having a couple of beers, having a sing-song, and they were brilliant. And I don't think we're going to see a set of fans again like that at the CBS for a long, long time. Only our own fans, because they were absolute credit to them. And do you know what? They behave like we behaved. Like we behave when we go away and things. We go away and enjoy ourselves. And that's what they did. They came here and they really enjoyed themselves. And, I can't wait for the next series of Disney Plus, even though we're going to be on it and we've lost. But, it's still going to be good to see us on Disney Plus, isn't it? So...
Yeah, it was a Hollywood type of game, wasn't it? A Hollywood game, but without the Hollywood ending from our point of view. But,
it's a Hollywood ending for them, and fair play to them. It's absolutely superb, and their fans were saying to us in there, they were saying our story is very similar to theirs, and it is, isn't it? It's really similar.
You can make a TV program about us, no problem.
We've been out the Premier League for 21 years. They've been out the Football League for 15 years. Any company that wants to come and film us, I think they'll have a decade of episodes of us, because it's just gone on and on and on and on. And hopefully we're going to start seeing the sun shining in January when it's been raining all day. and that's going to be this week, isn't it? And I mean, Mark, you said you'll think we'll lose both games. I think you just said about this weekend coming in Norwich. I think we'll get 4 points. I think we'll get a point. I think we'll get a point at Burnley. They'll bounce back, and it's a tough place to go. But I think we'll get a draw. And Norwich, they've still got no manager. They've lost. I think they lost to. What was it? They lost today. Huh?
Yeah, they got David Wagner as manager.
Yeah, got a manager now.
Oh, they got one now. When did he come in?
Well, the other day, I think.
A couple of days ago.
Okay, I missed that, guys. I missed that. I'm not up to date.
Yeah,
I think we'll get 4 points. Huh?
Yeah, I'll be ecstatic at 4 points, but I think Burnley. Yeah, I'll be happy with. We'll get nothing against Burnley. I think Norwich. Yeah, we could get 3 off them. I think that's the game. I think we could get something off. But if we play like we did first half, we won't beat anyone. It was a disgrace. We've got to be better than that. And hopefully, let's hope that for Burnley's game that we get a reaction from these players, because they owe the fans' performance. That was not good enough, particularly the first half. It was a disgrace yesterday. So let's just see what happens. But I'm not confident personally.
Yeah.
Well, I think we can get a point at Burnley. I agree with you. I don't see any reason why we can't come away with something there. At least a point. They are beatable on the day. Depends on what sort of day you play them, but they are beatable. And I definitely think we can beat Norwich. Yeah, they're struggling at the minute. They're not on form. And I think we're at home. That's a live TV game on early kickoff, isn't it? 12:30. So that'll be live on Sky.
Norwich,
so
12:30. Yeah.
So hopefully we can perform in front of the cameras and get 3 points in that game.
Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brilliant.
I think that rounds up tonight's show. So thanks, guys. I think we need to. I'm quite glad I've got this show out of the way because I feel a bit better. I've got everything off my chest now because it was very disappointing yesterday. But we've got to move forward. Let's hope that this week is a more positive week off the field with the ownership situation. So our next show is going to be Thursday. We've actually got 3 Burnley fans coming on, so we have sort of a mixture of 3 Cov fans, 3 Burnley fans who are going to come on to preview the Burnley game. So they'll be on at 7:30 on Thursday. So stay tuned for that. And obviously we've got the usual Sunday show. Hopefully we will be talking about a win against Burnley, and I'll be eating humble pie once again. So that's something to look forward to on Sunday. So thanks to my guests Miles and Ken. You've been brilliant as always. And thank you everyone who's listening and been putting in some comments tonight. It's been great to see. I mean, we're very happy that people want to comment on our shows and enjoy taking part in the podcast. So thank you everyone for listening, and we'll speak to you on Thursday night. So thanks everyone. Good night.
Good night all.
Good night all. Thanks for watching.